We're live. What's going on, buddy? I just got off work, and as I checked my phone, many different things, many exciting things happened today. One of those big things was Doc Ock's back. Molina's coming back as Dr. Octopus for Spider-Man 3 with Tom Holland. Now, there were some rumors and some things dropping a couple weeks ago about that. I'm like, okay, sweet, this is awesome. But then I am at work, and I get a notification, and I read Garfield, Maguire, Dunst, and Stone, all reprising their role for Spider-Man 3. So from what we understand, we're going to get into all the details right there. But let me introduce who's joining me for this. Hey, we got Griffin Schiller from over at Film Speak. How you doing, Griffin?
Hey, how's it going, man? Ready to talk some Spider-Men, but the E is a 3. So yeah, I'm ready to talk about that.
Do you think that's what they'll do? Do you think that's what they'll do?
If they were smart, they'd do that, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to keep with like the something home or something, you know, like whatever that's going to be. But
that's what I'm waiting for. Is what is the title of this? You know, is it Spider-Man Homefront Assault? I've seen that go around a bit.
I mean, as like when it comes down to the title, I really don't care, and it can be like a myriad of different things. I mean, I don't know if anyone really guessed did anyone guess Far From Home when that was being announced or something?
I thought someone did, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. I know Homecoming was guessed quite a bit.
Right.
Which
that makes sense.
For a bunch of different things. So, but thank you guys so much for joining us on this. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are new here, as well as comment down below and let us know your thoughts if you're watching this on the replay. If you're joining us during the live chat, we'll be kind of going through the live chat as this show goes on. Make sure to also go support Film Speak over there. Where can they find you at real fast?
Yeah, you can find Film Speak over on the YouTube channel and all that good stuff. So if you don't hate me by the end of this stream, you can head over there and see what else I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. So I brought Griffin on here because he is of the opposite side of me on this. And I think you're not the only one. There's actually quite a few people. Like I know Ren is on the same side as you. He's very anxious. And, you know, I have pros and cons to what I want from this, you know. So again, starting from this, I came to work, saw Alfred Molina's back. I said, all right, cool. I'm in. It's going to be awesome to see a different version of Doc Ock in this world that, you know, from Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's worlds, those were different characters. Jumping in now, though, Collider's running this report, which, you know, when Collider, the IGN, stuff like that start running stuff, that's where I kind of start taking this stuff a little bit more serious. So, you know, we get here that just like Jamie Foxx, Andrew Garfield will be back, and if Sony Marvel can close a deal with Tobey Maguire, he'll be back too. Kirsten Dunst will return as MJ, and I can expect Emma Stone to reprise her role as Gwen Stacy, pregnancy permitting. Why? Because the third Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland will delve into the multiverse, just like its animated counterpart did. Yeah. Truthfully, I'll never understand why fans want to know every little detail about a movie before they see it, though I can certainly understand the excitement surrounding Molina's return, seeing as Doc Ock is the best villain Spider-Man has ever faced on the big screen, which, if I'm not being nostalgic because I love freaking Mysterio to death, I do agree with that. I think you're the same mindset as well.
Yeah. Molina. I mean, there's just no one who kind of matched the depth that character got. I mean, yeah, Michael Keaton's great as a Vulture. We all love Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, but like Alfred Molina's Doc Ock felt like a fully fleshed out person. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So it's interesting. So first reaction, you know, I'm excited. You know, we expected it. There was too many rumors at this point for it not to be true. Now, Tobey not coming back.
Yeah.
At this point, I'd be pretty surprised if he doesn't, you know, especially since it's in this recording. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I feel like they're probably still in negotiations with him. I mean, Andrew Garfield obviously is a massive fan of the character and the property, and so it's like as long as he's taken care of, just like in terms of like a fair payment, I could see him coming back, no questions asked. I feel like Tobey is a little bit trickier because he's I don't know if he's necessarily as fond of the fact that he doesn't care, but I also just don't think that he really likes the fact that he's still attached to Spider-Man as much. Like he's less inclined to talk about it like on the press circuits whenever he does stuff, and he's just sort of like whatever. So I think the big thing, if he does sign on, is that they'll use him in one of Sam Raimi's Marvel projects going down the road, something like that, where like, you know, that to me would be the only reason why he would agree to come back, is that he would get to work with Sam Raimi again because he had such a good time like with that collaborative relationship. Yeah.
So, and then, we get the Emma Stone, Kristen Dunst. Now, if Toby doesn't come back, I see no reason for Kristen to come back. I really don't see a reason at all for her to come back. Doc Ock, there's hit or miss on there. I mean, there's no one else I think I would want to see play this role other than Molina. But again, what version and what take will you be taking it on this time is the thing that I'm interested in. But when it comes down to Garfield, though, bringing Emma Stone again, that is an interesting thing because she died.
Yeah.
She's dead. So is it Spider-Gwen this time? Are we doing more than just them?
If you notice, a lot of the characters that they are bringing back outside of Andrew Garfield and Kirsten Dunst, well, yeah, they're dead. They're dead in their respective universes, and so I mean, either they're going to be different versions of those characters, or we're going to find them at a place in time like before they've been offed or whatever. So I mean, I don't know. It is interesting though, the people they are selecting because they're dead.
Yeah. So who do you think's the main villain for this then? Like, that's the thing.
I don't even know, man.
Why is this happening? And I think, to be honest, the skepticism comes because there's no plot. There's zero plot out there yet.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't think that the film has a plot. It's just like everything that we've gotten is just really scatterbrained. The one thing I will say is, like, it's really interesting how people are over the moon excited about this, but like when Spider-Man 3 was coming out, when The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was coming out, they're like, oh, there's too many villains, it's too overstuffed, I don't know if they can do that. And then, like, lo and behold, here, Spiderverse comes out and it's an animated film, so people are more willing to accept the wackiness of it. And then it's got all these characters in it, and they're like, yeah, do that in live action. And now they're like basically doing it in live action. So it's really interesting how the tables have sort of turned on that. And I hope people go back and watch Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and take out the fact that there's too many villains. I don't, like, regardless of what your issues are with those movies, too many villains is not really part of the issue.
It's not the issue. It's just how they handled them. It's how they handled them, because technically the first Spider-Man film had a ton of villains as well. Spider-Man Homecoming, it had Tinker, it had the Vulture, it had Score. Even though they're not big, I'm very interested to see how they handle all this. And again, if it wasn't Kevin Feige doing this, I think I would be more pessimistic about the whole ordeal. And I remember seeing a tweet, I think a couple months back, that said the multiverse will be the downfall of the MCU. What do you think on that?
I think there's, I don't know. It's a fine line they have to walk. Like, it is sort of like a double-edged sword, because it's like really cool. You can go out there, you could do crazy and wacky things. Obviously, like, they're going to be doing that with Doctor Strange, and they're definitely like teeing it up in Spider-Man 3, and then probably what they're going to dub the Spiderverse movie is what will come after Spider-Man 3 and stuff like that. So, like, it's exciting because you can do cool things with past versions of the characters that, like, people thought like couldn't be done before. But it's like everything has to serve a purpose. Everything has to be important enough to be in that movie. You can't just be throwing stuff in there for the sake of like appeasing fans and doing fan service, because then it just becomes a gimmick. And for me right now, it's like Tom Holland has basically been overshadowed like the entirety of his existence in the MCU. I mean, he was overshadowed in Homecoming by Tony Stark, purposefully so. I thought that, like, Far From Home was the first time we really got to see him break out of that shadow and become his own character. And so, like, with Spider-Man 3, I was like,
Far From Home so much.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is what I wanted to see from him for like a long time. So Spider-Man 3, we're like, okay, we're finally gonna get this guy playing Spider-Man, like getting New York City to himself. And they don't even let him do that. Now he's got like 3 Spider-Men coming in. He's got villains from like interdimensions or like other dimensions. It's like,
so do you think
his identity's out there?
Far From Home? Do you think this was on the cards after Far? Like, do you think they planned?
No, absolutely not. No, I don't think so. I think it was just one of those things where it's like they got Sam Raimi on board and they were doing stuff with the Multiverse of Madness, and then maybe they were like, oh, we have Sam Raimi, maybe we can tee up a live action Spider-Verse film directed by Sam Raimi now that we have him in the fold, and like let him do whatever. And so we got to plant the seeds in this movie. And so, I mean, I don't really know.
I don't think they'll be a big piece of this. I think they'll have a role. And the reason I think that is because Toby's not official on it. Like, So what if he doesn't decide to come back? You know what I mean?
Well,
Same
yeah,
with
I mean, that's the
Garfield,
thing.
yeah, and that's it's a giant thing that could definitely pull it, which that's my thing. So as a pro, yes, I'm very excited to see what they could do with Garfield and Maguire's characters and bringing them back, because I love both iterations of those characters. I've pretty much enjoyed every single Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
There's not one that's like I've watched, I'm like, God, this is garbage. Each and every one I've enjoyed.
Sure.
And I think, you know, Garfield, he got hit with the stick in the third film, you know. He didn't get the best conclusion. And Garfield alone, he should have gotten a third film. He 100%
he definitely should have
gotten a third film. It's just, you know, Sony's reactionary.
Well, that's the thing that I was telling you before we started, is like, I think this is a great, the only way that I would like this is that it'll give both Garfield and Maguire a chance to see their character arcs concluded in a way that is satisfying, whether it's in Spider-Man 3 or whether it's in you know, live action Spider-Verse movie, whatever. I just don't want that to happen at the expense of Tom Holland's character arc. Now they can do it because we've seen it done in like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They service Peter B. Parker, they service like Gwen Stacy, all these people. And still they still managed to like give Miles a really compelling emotional journey. So they can do it. It's just, it's going to be difficult. And
you gotta walk that fine line. You gotta walk that fine line.
And I honestly don't even know if this is something John Watts is capable of. Like if this was Sam Raimi directing Spider-Man 3, I think I'd feel a little more confident, but like John Watts hasn't like the past two movies. Like it's enough to make me believe in him as a director to tell like a Spider-Man story, but like something like this is like really massive. So
which
I don't
again,
know.
though, the Russo brothers, when they came on board to do Winter Soldier, I'm like, man, really? And you know, then they turned out. So this could be in that case. It's just, I am with you. It does seem like a lot. A lot of this seems like a lot. What I hope is that I think this was supposed to be a big surprise. I think Garfield and Maguire were supposed to be a big surprise, something that's probably going to happen at the very conclusion of this.
Yeah, but you can't keep that stuff under wraps at all. No. Like that's impossible.
No, not at all. And I remember Daniel RPK, the guy on Twitter, I remember he tweeted out something a little bit ago saying, don't expect the Spider-Man to be in there that much. This is still a Holland story, but the villains will play a major part in it. So maybe at the end of this, the Sinister Six is officially formed, and then the next film is Spider-Verse with the Sinister Six.
Where they have to fight. Yeah.
And maybe you do get, you know, Sam Raimi directing that. You know, because that's you gotta imagine, how do you get Sam Raimi out of retirement? He wasn't in retirement, but the guy hasn't directed anything in what, years? Yeah. So it's like, how do you get this guy to come back to Doctor Strange? We know he loves the character, but like, there's got to be something in there for him.
Right. Well, I think that was part of the thing. It's like, you know, they get Sam Raimi on board for Doctor Strange 2, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, so we'll give you Doctor Strange 2. Maybe we'll give you another Doctor Strange movie, but like, hey, we've got these spider projects over here. We're gearing up for like a live action Spider-Verse movie. What do you say? You want to play in that sandbox? And like, if you're Sam Raimi, I don't think you say no to that, just because it gives you a chance to, it gives Sam Raimi a chance to finish off the story for
what he wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure you'll see like elements of that in there, like whatever Mark Webb was doing with The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm sure you'll see stuff there as well.
So I want to pose this. There's a lot of theories out there. There's one thing that maybe one of the Spider-Man are playing. I would more go Tobey Maguire since he's the older one. That maybe he's the Uncle Ben. That was Tom Holland in his world. And, you know, there's that verse that like in his world, you know, Tobey Maguire was Uncle Ben. He passed away. And now you have him coming in as a different Spider-Man. I don't fully know. I kind of dig that. I kind of don't. Again, just depends how you handle it. I'm more curious to see how they just bring this all together. And I hope what they ended with in the last Spider-Man film goes forward with this a little bit. Like it doesn't just like they solve it right in the beginning or some shit like that. You know, maybe he's going to these different worlds. Maybe he goes to Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange tells him he needs help, and to help him.
God, dude, I keep forgetting Doctor Strange is in this movie. There's
I don't think he's
so
in it that
many
much,
people
though.
in this
can't
movie.
Be in it this much. He really can't. I doubt it. I think it's gonna be more like a Thor Ragnarok thing, because I remember Doctor Strange got announced really early on for that film, and then he's in it for less than 2 minutes. I think, like less than 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I think Doctor Strange. Well, I mean, listen, they did say that he was going to be kind of a mentor figure to Peter, and that was something that kind of concerned me a little bit. But I do think, yeah, I mean, he'll just be kind of the person that like basically says, hey, here's the multiverse, here's how it works. Whatever, for whatever reason, something's.
And what
do
you think his mission will be, though? Like, what is his mission?
I don't know.
Like that.
I was really hoping that the story was going to revolve around him trying to protect his identity now that it's out in the world,
and
like
Kraven the Hunter being the villain. Maybe
that sounds like so much more interesting than whatever the hell this movie is going to be, because that's like a personal story with real stakes, and like it causes like Peter to like look at what it is he's doing and the sacrifices that he has to make and like the people that he has to protect and how much he has to lose. And he's got this guy who's like literally hunting him in this, like, I don't know, like that to me is just like, that's a really interesting story. This just, I mean, I don't know. The story could be interesting. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm interested to see what's going to happen, but it does come across as like gimmicky. I legitimately have no idea where the story could go.
And that's the thing, especially from the way Far From Home ends. Now, I saw some other tweets saying like, well, look, J.K. Simmons coming back, that was kind of a seed planting. But I also felt like it was just fun. Now maybe you can't say those seeds. No one can play that role except him.
Yeah, I mean, like he can exist in however many Spider-Verse worlds you want it to be, and he'll just be that same person. He's not going to be someone like carried over from a multiverse.
I just remember the original concept for Tom Holland's Spider-Man was the first 3 are high school, the next 3 are college, and the next 3 were after that. And that was like their initial plan for him. And now it just makes me also think, is this their way to kick him out of the MCU and bring him into whatever fucking verse they're doing? And also, Venom, Morbius is a big thing now. Because we saw Spider-Man at the end, we saw Vulture. So how is that going to play?
There's too many people.
See that before the next Spider-Man film, and we're also going to see the next Venom film before the next Spider-Man film. Which that's also a thing because, I don't know if you saw, but his costume leaked, and he has the spider emblem on him.
Wait, who? Venom?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't see the leaked costume, but. Yeah, I mean,
and he's in Tom Holland to be in there too. So, which I don't know if I prefer that. I would have preferred that they set up like that's Garfield or something, like that's his world or some shit like that. Because even Venom feels like it. If you didn't tell me that, like, I don't know. For me, I feel like Venom feels more entwined with Garfield's world than it does the MCU at all.
Yeah, right. The Venom stuff. I don't know if that happens, and if that happens in these films, I'll be really curious to see what kind of goes down there. The thing I am a little concerned about in like bringing back these villains, and it seems like the villains are actually going to have more of a bigger role to play in the story than like Toby and like Andrew Garfield and stuff like that. The thing I don't want to have happened is like have their character arcs in their respective films undermined. Like that's. Like you're taking Doc Ock, who had, oh my God, like one of the most powerful storylines in all of the Spider-Man movies, super emotional, redeeming. I mean, he wasn't a villain. He was a guy that was just kind of like manipulated, and like his ego and lust for power kind of got the better of him.
Yeah.
Well, he killed himself, right? Like he did it on purpose. His arc was fulfilled, and now like you're bringing him back. Like, what does that open? What doors does that open? You're almost just like kind of backwardsly ruining like what happened in that film if you're going to say, oh, they're all connected together now in this Spider-Verse. And I don't want to see that.
It's crazy how much news has come out in the last 2 days. Like first the HBO shit, now this. And I'm with you. Like I really wanted to see Kraven in here.
For sure.
There's still rumors he's in it. There's rumors of him. I've heard Smythe. Is it Smythe and his, I don't remember what it's called, and I've never been the biggest fan of Smythe. I know Ren, I see him in the chat. I know Ren likes Smythe a lot more than I do. Maybe it's because they casted what's his face from The Office to play Smythe. Yeah, which probably could have worked. Maybe.
I mean, we didn't really get him a lot in that film, so I mean, I don't know.
But maybe he comes back, Felicity Jones could come back as a Black Cat. I don't know. I think you are right, though. I think this film is setting up more of an actual live action Spider-Verse. And I think that, they talk about, from what we understand, he signed on for 2 more films. or Tom Holland did within this Marvel universe. Like that was their deal. They do 2 more films together. This one, and I'm probably gonna guess it's a live action Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's what I imagine that it's going to be. But I wish that they would have just waited and saved all of this for that film, and instead of cramming it in here
or something like that. Like at the very end, have Molina walk in, and that could set it up because for all we know, like Molina, he's a fucking scientist. Maybe he figured out the multiverse,
Yeah, but how does he figure out the multiverse and then like he dies? Like it just I don't know, man.
Well, I meant in this world. Like I meant in this world. Like not Raimi
okay.
stuff.
Gotcha.
So
yeah,
it's all up in the air. Maybe on December 10th when they do the whole whatever they're doing, the Disney conference or whatever. Maybe they give more details to that. We'll see. We're gonna kind of jump into the chat before we get ending in this. See a lot of people in here. If Toby shows up, the OG Spider-Man theme song, I'm screaming. I gotta imagine if he shows up, the theme plays.
Yeah, I mean probably, but I don't want them to pull a Justice League and like completely erase the musical continuity of what they had.
Danny Elfman did, yeah,
and ironically, Danny Elfman scored Maguire's Spider-Man, so
which is funny. But I think we have confirmation that
Michael Giacchino's coming back.
Michael Giacchino, which he's done a great job the last 2.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen Griffin. Why aren't you on his channel then? Let's see. Since we have a villain from the Tobey era and a villain from the Garfield era, do you think we'll get a villain from the Holland era to round out the trio of villains with the Yeah, and I think that could be Kraven. Maybe. I just don't see how Kraven. I think they might bring back someone though. I think that's maybe bring Mysterio from a different world. I don't
think Mysterio is dead. Let's be honest.
There's no way you kill Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. There's no way you kill Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 seems to be setting up the multiverse Sinister Six by the looks of it. Absolutely. And that's another thing. Maybe this sets up all the next, maybe it's not just these 3 by the end of the film. Maybe we do get Gwen Stacy as Spider-Man for the next, whatever they're doing. Maybe we do get a Miles Morales. We don't know. I mean, it's really all up in the air. Tomorrow this could all be announced. We'd be doing another video anyways.
Seriously. Yeah.
It's very interesting. I am really happy to see Emma Stone coming back, but again, it also sucks because she's dead. I saw a tweet and it was Peter Griffin and his neck was snapped.
I saw that too. I was like, oh my god, so bad.
It's so bad. Thank you to the 46 people watching this currently. It means a lot. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Go support Film Freak as well. Leave a comment and start throwing it in the live chat. We are going through that right now with this news. This is big. It's live action Spider-Verse. It's something that I think we've all joked around about for years. And it seems like, I don't know. Does it seem like the studios are actually listening?
I think that really what I think happened was they saw the success of Into the Spider-Verse and they're like, oh shit, we have this entire cinematic history continuity. Let's throw it all together. I'm going to say something controversial. I think they should have taken that money and made like 3 more Spider-Verse movies, like animated ones.
Well, yeah, we're still waiting on that second one.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
coming out till 2022.
Yeah, like I don't know. To me, that's almost more interesting. And then you can bring in like the different voice actors and stuff like that.
Well, and you know what I was even thinking? I was like, before this film, because I know there was the thing where they interviewed Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and they said, we were going to bring Toby, but then they thought it was being too confusing.
Yeah, and now they're just taking the idea.
I literally, and I don't think it was too confusing. I think they're like, we should save that. But I also thought maybe in the next Spider-Verse, there's a quick glimpse where they're going through different verses and they go through a world and it's live action. And, it's the 3 main, 2099, Miles, Gwen, all live action. And then you see these 3 Spider-Men. And it can still happen. I mean, it can still happen. Who knows? Yeah. Does Doctor Strange revive Gwen Stacy and tells her we need your help?
God, I hope not.
You can't. And that's my thing. I really do hope these are the versions of those Spider-Man from those worlds. I don't want to see, but then at the same time, that's also not Spider-Verse because Spider-Verse is different. It's like, I don't know. They don't look the same.
I don't know.
That's the thing kind of messing with my head. Jaren Talks Movies, exciting time, guys. It's like my childhood being relived, but in all honesty, I do not believe this will be the Spider-Verse film, but a lead up. Same thing you just said. I mean, I 100% agree with you. Do you guys think Tom Hardy will return as Venom? We know he's coming in Venom 2. Will he be in this? I really hope not. I don't think he needs to be.
Dude, if they throw in Venom in here, I might just walk out of the movie. Like I just don't want to see that. I don't know. It just.
But for all we know, dude, this could be the best Spider-Man film yet. If they,
it really could be. Yeah, it really could be. Yeah.
So and that's the thing. Again, my major pro to this is again seeing all this come together. But my major conduit is I want Tom Holland to get his actual story. So, and we've seen that before. Civil War was still a personal Captain America story. So this could pull it off. Do we know who's writing this film? I think that. Do we know who's writing?
No, I don't remember. It might be the same people.
I'm gonna go look it up.
Previous Spider-Man films.
Let's see. Let's see.
I know it all does come down to the writing. I mean, like maybe like Sam Raimi had a hand in the writing. I mean, honestly,
Community, Far From Home, Homecoming, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I'm pretty sure the other guy probably did the exact same.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think it's the same people who did those movies.
Same exact thing, and he also did Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. So good. I mean, I love Far From Home. I think you and me both agree. It's. Back to the chat real fast. I think we'll see Jake Gyllenhaal back as Mysterio, Keaton as Vulture after the fallout of Morbius, and with the addition of Electro and Doc Ock, I think we're getting Sinister Six as the villains. I don't see him being the full villain for this, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're building up to the Sinister Six. They've been trying to build up to the Sinister Six for, I mean, my God, since like the fourth Raimi film was in development or whatever. I mean, they were literally going to have a Sinister Six movie. So, like, if they're going to take the opportunity to do that and like bring in the best of like all the continuities, I think they're gonna do it.
Yep, I agree. Ren is here. Hello, Ren. We got a super chat. Do you want a James Bond multiverse? I do. No jokes. It could clarify each Bond actor in existence. I'll let you take this, Griffin.
I absolutely hate that. No, that'd be stupid because I think the cool thing about the Bond stuff is like it doesn't matter like who all has played the character. It can all exist under the same continuity. Like a little bit of a tangent here. Like on Her Majesty's Secret Service happened. There was a death that happened at the end of that movie. And then in the next film, Sean Connery's Bond, and they respond to that. And then a couple of films down the road, Roger Moore's Bond, and they still address that incident. So it's just like, I think the character can live in different incarnations. You don't need to connect everything. I don't like that like multiverse interconnectivity for every single franchise. It's unnecessary.
Well, and that's the thing. And, we're getting the Flash as well, which I'm assuming will also have Batman galore, Superman galore. Linda Carter will probably be in there. Grant Gustin, wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
it's gonna be the same thing that it's gonna be the same thing that this Spider-Man movie is gonna be basically.
And same thing with Doctor Strange. We don't know what they're doing with that multiverse of madness yet. Only reason
here's
the honest thing:
3 multiverse movies.
The reason I'm excited for that. Yeah, because we also have WandaVision.
It's too much, man. It's too much for me. I can't do it all.
So, I guess we'll see. Ren, fully agreed. Last Hunt would be so much more compelling. Would complete the Spidey doesn't need Tony arc beautifully. Spider-Man Home Hunt. Home Hunt's a good title. I like that. I like that title. This just came to mind. What if we see a multiverse already? No. If we get an Iron Man cameo, no, I'm sorry. Like if we get an Iron Man cameo, that's just fucking stupid. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. That's just I'm out. I'm out if they do that. You can't bring RDJ back, especially after Endgame. You just at least you got to give it like 10, 15 years. I'm sorry. Like if you want to bring him back, do it like Keaton. Like have him return after the MCU is like rebooted. Alistair and Spencer Smythe, they should absolutely be adapted into these films. Also a clever way, important to the story, way to tie in Venom into the Spider-Man films. Maybe. My theory is WandaVision and Spider-Man 3 set up Doctor Strange, which is going to be a lot more about the multiverse. However, I think the storyline may span longer than 1 or 2 movies. I mean, I'll see. And you know what? What if that is the thing? What if Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness isn't exactly anything like Scott Derrickson wanted, and now that they have Raimi, they're like, oh well, let's have Garfield and Maguire be some of the main characters. But I mean, I don't. I mean, honestly, I just don't want that. I still want a straight up Doctor Strange 2. Which,
I mean, I'd love that.
I think that's where we get down to the one issue with this continuity of MCU it's awesome to see it all connected, but at the same time, I do miss those stories. And you know, when the X-Men eventually do come in, and the Fantastic Four eventually come in, and Doctor Doom eventually comes in, it's gonna be the same thing. That's why I'm actually really hoping Deadpool 3 is separate. I am really hoping.
Same. My biggest issue with Marvel sort of like acquiring all the Marvel, Marvel Studios acquiring all the Marvel properties is like, it's just too easy for them to make like crossovers. And like every film is basically becoming a crossover event, you know, and it's like crossover events are cool if you do them like sparingly. Not every single film needs to be a crossover event. You can have a movie that focuses on a single character without any other like, you know, MCU heroes in it. And I feel like they're kind of losing track of that.
Which I agree with you. And that's the thing, because I miss when we got that original Iron Man. I miss the Iron Man 3. You know, we haven't gotten an Iron Man 3 in a while. It's really, you know, it's hard for me to say that this isn't the film I'm most curious about for next year. And also the film I'm also mostly anticipating, because I did love Far From Home and I trust Marvel. I just am also very worried about this movie. If it wasn't for Dune, this would be my most anticipated film for next year, hands down. If it even comes out next year, I'm still in the category. I don't think it will. I think it gets pushed back one more time. So, all right, guys. Before we get tying this up, Griff, do you have anything else left to kind of throw into this whole thought?
No, not really. Like I listen, it's like exciting that we'll get to see Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man with Gwen Stacy, Alfred Molina, more opportunities to see him as the character obviously gets me excited, but it's excitement with with a grain of salt basically, because if they kind of make it all a stunt, then I don't know if I'm really down for it, especially with a lot of those characters, you know, having satisfying conclusions to their arcs. Like I said, I do think it like gives them an opportunity to finish off like Raimi verse and Garfield verse in a satisfying way, tie up those loose ends. But if it comes at the expense of Tom Holland's character, you know, is it really worth it? So I don't know.
I want to ask you, after the Spiderverse or whatever the hell they're doing, do you think we get a standalone film with Garfield or Maguire again?
God, that's an interesting thing to think about, because I'd be down for that. You know, multiple Spider-Man incarnations. Yeah. I don't know. It depends on if they start doing Spider-Man on streaming. You know, like they're trying to do with Batman with Ben Affleck, maybe doing like his. I mean,
you think that's true? You think?
I think it's possible. I don't know if it's. I mean,
I'm going to be honest with you. I think if the Snyder Cut's a hit, it'll happen. And I think we get the second part that he actually wanted to make. If it's a hit, and I think it will be. I think it will be.
It's the same thing with this. It's like if this like big jumbled, you know, multiverse thing kind of pays off, then they can go on to Disney Plus and be like, hey, here's Spider-Man with not Tom Holland, with Andrew Garfield, and you can see what's going on in his universe there, and then you put that on Disney Plus. I'm not saying I like that idea. I'm just saying like that's maybe gives them another avenue to do something like that.
And it would be interesting. It'd definitely be interesting. So I'm going to take this last thing before we get going. Gabriel, something we haven't considered. Do you think it's possible for Andrew Garfield Spider-Man or Tobey Maguire Spider-Man to die in this movie that could have a big impact? Your thoughts?
They're going to kill one. It'd probably be Maguire, because it's like the OG, the mentor. Yeah.
I don't think he would die in this film. I think he would die in the next one. Whatever they possibly do. And I think maybe Miles Morales comes from his world. I don't know. Yeah,
that would probably make the most. No, I want Miles to come from like Tom's world, damn it. Like they already alluded to it with Donald Glover.
Prowler, which that's the thing. Do you get, which I'm going to say this, I would love to see Glover.
I'd love to see it. Prowler. Yeah.
I would love to, especially with Prowler in the Miles Morales game, and now the Spiderverse movie. I want to see it. So, you know, if we're bringing back everyone, fuck it. Bring him back too. Maybe he's the main villain. Maybe he is the main villain for this.
I don't even know. Yeah.
At this point, give us the title. Give us the actual title. Give us the story. We need to hear it now. What is this? What is going on? But thank you so much, Griffin, for joining me on this. I know this was an impromptu kind of jump in. I got off work. I needed somewhere to talk about this. And when it came to Spider-Man, I know you absolutely are very worried about this idea, so I wanted to bring you on.
Sure. Yeah. No, thank you for having me on, man. It's always great doing the live streams, chatting with you guys, and all that good stuff. Hopefully, this winds up surprising me. So
yeah, maybe that'll be your favorite Spider-Man film yet.
It's possible.
Do you want to tell them what your favorite one is?
My favorite one as of right now might still be Into the Spiderverse, but a close second is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So you can take all of my opinions and throw them out the window now that you've heard that. So.
Hey, you know what? I like that film. It's not bad.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like the old school Spider-Man cartoons. Like that's what it really reminded me of. So, and I dig it. And dude, let's say this, Garfield still has the best web slinging action yet.
Dude, he's the best person to play the character. Like, I don't care. He is the best, like, easily.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. Well, thank you so much again for joining me, guys. Make sure to go subscribe to him. Hit those like buttons over on him. I think your latest video was also Soul as well.
It might be. Yeah, I did a couple of streams before then. But yeah, my last published one, I think, was Soul. Yeah.
Sweet. So go support it, guys. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. And of course, I mean, if you're catching this on the replay, let's talk more Spider-Man. I mean, this is